translates to pilgrims in hope. Now you might say, well, okay, so what, Father? But think about it. There's a big difference between pilgrims of hope and pilgrims in hope. And so that's what I'd invite us to reflect upon in the second Sunday of Advent. The readings kind of open that door to us trying to figure out, what does it mean to be pilgrims in hope? If it's of hope, obviously it comes from within and so forth. But in hope has to do with out here. And I would suspect, if you're like most of us, we don't often see a lot of hope out there. And so how are we going to find that hope to be in, if that's what the church is calling us to? So I have my little props. Two words or two little things that simply say hope. Okay? If we're going to be pilgrims in hope, then we have to, in order to find that hope in a world that sometimes seems quite hopeless, or even if we don't get caught up in the world, sometimes in our own lives, things happen and one thing goes wrong and the next thing goes wrong, and we lose that sense of in hope in our lives. What I like about this little hope here is that it's a cross. Because indeed, and this is where the scriptures come in very strongly today, if we're going to live in hope and be in hope, then the cross is right here. This is where one way that we'll find hope, by entering into the cross of our hopelessness, or the cross of the world's hopelessness, or the cross of the people we love's hopelessness, or the cross of every single person, because all of us have crosses. And John the Baptist, that's what upsets him about, that's the first thing, one of the things that upsets him about the Pharisees and the Sadducees, is that they're giving all kinds of responsibilities, all kinds of rules, all kinds of things that you have to do in order to be a faithful person. And somehow they've lost a sense of anybody's hopelessness. They just keep piling it on. And so he calls them a brood of vipers. That is not a nice term. He calls them a brood of vipers. So if anybody asks you, that's pretty much a curse in the Bible. He calls them that they're snakes in the grass. They're using God's people and they're ignoring people's crosses. The other hope, or the other little thing that I have that has the word hope on it, is a strange little thing. It's kind of like a tag, but it's heavy. You know, I mean, if you hang, it could be an ornament, you hang it on a tree, but it's pretty heavy. Or you put it on a tag on an ornament and it's bigger, heavier than the ornament sometimes, or heavier than the gift sometimes. And so what's the point of it? Well, it's a source of identity, I guess. It tells you this is a package, or this is a Christmas tree, or whatever. We put tags on things to identify things. And so what Isaiah is telling us is if that we're going to bring about any kind of hope into the world, we got to be the hope. We have to be the ones that identify the hope. And how do we identify that hope? Through the Spirit. the spirit of wisdom and understanding, those gifts of the Holy Spirit that Isaiah names in the scriptures. This is the way hope comes into the world. This is the way we are people of the hope, or another way, by the way we live hope. That's a hard one, because we can, and personally it can happen. We can get so caught up in the pain of our lives, the struggles of our lives, that it's almost impossible to find hope. But somehow we need to be hope for one another. And so whether it's our identity that helps us to be pilgrims in hope, or the crosses that we help each other and see as ways that will lead to hope, both are essential. This week I heard a little, or I think I read it, a little quote. I can't remember who it was though, and the quote was this: before you challenge people, and it was some famous saint, before you challenge people, you have to give them comfort